Okay, hello all. Now I will talk about the insertion of an element in a list. So we talked about the search in the list. Now how we insert a node in a list. Okay, so you have a node that needs to be added to a list. So you have several cases. We have seen in an unordered list how we insert in the beginning or at the end of the list or in the middle. But here, when you have an ordered list, you will do it once for all. So we have several cases. The first case that you have is basically when the list is initially empty, there is nothing. We checked it already last time when we did insert first. So here, basically, the list is empty. So the node containing the new item is only node that I have in the list. So I come to the function, I create my node, and I just need to set the first and the last pointers to this node. This is a straightforward case. The second case is basically when a new item is smaller than the smallest item in the list. So when you have a list that is ordered and the item that you want to add is the smallest item, is less than the smallest item, for sure you will add it in the beginning of the list. So you need to change the first pointer to point to your new node. And the third case is the item is to be inserted somewhere in the list. We don't know where it is, okay? So we have two cases here. The new item is larger than all the items in the list. In this case, the item will be inserted at the end of the list. And the new item, this is 3b. So we have case 1, case 2, case 3 is divided in two parts. So 3a, like I said, it is bigger than all the items. So I have to put it at the end. You have to be careful here because you will have like the node, the pointer called current that we will use to go to traverse the list, right? So this current, if I arrive to the end, it will be null. So I always have to have a pointer that just before the current. So I want to save the current before going to next. So I will use a node called trail current node, and I will show you in that code how I will use it. The second case, in case 3, basically the new item is to be inserted somewhere in the middle of the list. So it's not smaller than the smallest, it's not bigger than the biggest, so it is somewhere. So still I need to keep track of the current pointer and the previous pointer. So here in the book they call the previous pointer, they call it trail current. So let's see how we will do this, how we will do things. So basically, let's go back to the code. Here I have the code. I will show you the code and then we will run it. Okay, so this is the function insert. So we want to create a new node, but what is given as parameter is the new item, which is of integer type, because we are, like I said before, it is dealing with integers. So how many pointers I have? I have, of course, the 2 pointers that I use in the class, which is called first and tail or last, and I will have a pointer called current that will that will help me to traverse the list from the beginning to the end. And I have another pointer that I will call trail current. Sometimes if you check online, you will find that some code, they will call it previous. I will call it here trail current, like the book. And I have the new node that I just want to create now. Okay, so first, of course, I will have a Boolean bool because I need to search for the element in the list to find the position of that element. So what we do, normal, we just create the node. So we have new node equals new node. We set the data part of the new node to the new item, and the next we set it to null. Okay, so we created our node. It has some data. Now let's go step by step. So let's go to case 1. Case 1, like we said, it's basically the list is empty. This is very simple. So if the list is empty, it means that first is equal to null. First, then we'll take the new node, and the last will have the new node. So both pointers, first and last, will point to the new node. And of course, I will add one to my counter to count the number of elements in the list. This is the first case scenario. This is very simple. Let's see now the other cases. Before we go to the case 2 and case 3, we need to search for the position of that element in the list, right? So we'll use the current pointer. So current pointer will have the value first in the beginning, and found the Boolean found is equal to first. So we'll have a loop here. So in the loop, we'll say if while the current is different from null, and I didn't find yet, so I will find the element. So current, if the current pointing data is greater than new item, so I am sure that I found an element that is either equal to that element or bigger than that element, okay? Because remember, I want to insert the new item at some position. So I don't want to get just the item itself, but I need to get the position, okay? So I will say found is equal true. If not, so if I don't find it, I will say I want to keep the current. I need to keep track of current. Trail current is equal to current, so I save it here, and then I will go to the next pointer in the list. So current is equal to current pointing to next. Okay, this is my while loop. So when I go out of the loop, I have different cases. Either the current, I found the item, the first is like smaller than the item that I want. So I am in case 2. So therefore, I will add my item at the beginning of the list. So I will say no new node dot next is equal to first, and for first is equal to new node. This is similar to what we did before in insert front function. And of course, I will increment count with 1. Case 3. Remember here we said we need to keep track of the previous pointer, the one that is just before current. So here I will say trail.next is equal to new node. Remember, it is like this next is really pointing to current for the time being, but by doing this is basically I inserted that node to that position, and the new node pointing next will get the current. And if current is equal to null, I will say this is case B, last equals to new node, and that's it. This is very simple how we add, and we are making sure by just doing this test that all the items will be added to the list in an ascending order to our list. So let's go now to the code. So we did the search. Now we want to do the insert. Okay, so this is the same code. You have first, if it is equal to null, I'm in case 1. If not, I am in case 2 or 3, and I will look for the, I need to find the place of the previous node, then the current, so I can insert my element. This is it, this is the code. Now let's run it. So here I just do insert. So here basically I'm calling the function insert. Let's run the code. Let me just stop it because I want to add more lines. So here I just created a list, and I will print my list. After the search, let's add elements, adding new elements to new nodes to the list. Okay, so let's give some examples. Let's add just in the first. Okay, remember that. So I will say list dot insert. I will put 0. Remember 0, I want it to be the first element in the list. So all the elements that are in the list should be bigger than 0. I will add at the end of the list, let's say 100, and list insert in the middle, let's say 70. So هنا beginning, you see it doesn't matter, I just want to show you how we do it. So at the end, and here in the middle, somewhere in the middle. Okay, the list. So let's run it. Okay, let's say I have 4, 6, 3, 2, 1. You see, I am in purpose putting the data in just any random order. You will see that later that it will be reordered. Okay, 45, and we said we wanted to insert 70. So 70 will be between 67 and 75. And our last element should be 100. We want to add it later. Let's put 90. Okay. So if I run, I will put 999 to stop the insertion. So let's see. Of course, here I added my element. You see, I added 4, 6, 3, 2, 1, 67, 45, 75, 90. But of course, I didn't do any output. Let's just print the list after the insert. Okay, at the end. Here, I just want to try it again. So let's run, because I want to see, is it really adding the 0 and the 70 and the 100 in the places what I wanted. So 45, 3, 2, 89, 76, 67, 10, and let's stop. Okay, minus 9. Okay, let's see what it did. Let's see if it's really going well. Yes, it added 0 as the first element, because all the elements that I had are greater than 0. So it will actually 2. I added 2, right? I added 0. Yes, here. I added 0. And I added somewhere in the middle 70 and 100 at the end. Okay, so this is, the code is working well. Okay. That's it for the insert in an ordered list, and this is the code, so you can try it and go back to it. For delete, I will do it in another video, because I want to have each video for a certain topic. Okay, I will just stop recording.